There are three paths for reducing Kundalini side effects. One is to do energy exercises that aim to ground and harmonize the energy, and that's what I'll be focusing on in this presentation. Then there is a lot of practical advice, typically advice regarding, which kind of food to eat and which kind of food not to eat, everyday tips for grounding, and so on. And then there's all the cognitive advice, which is basically advice on how to change your beliefs in order to change your Kundalini sensations. And in this presentation, I will focus on energy exercises. There are different kinds of exercises. Some are found in yoga, and some are found in Qigong, which is a Chinese system. And I'll be focusing today on those that can be found in Qigong. So, first of all, Qigong is a Chinese form of yoga, you might say. There is a specific practice within Qigong, which is kind of like the more nerdy and also esoteric kind, which is called Neidan, and it's usually translated as internal alchemy in the West. Internal alchemy is a set of practices that will prepare your body for Kundalini awakening, or at least something that is corresponding to a Kundalini awakening. Now, Qigong in general is not as well known as yoga because China was a closed country for many years, closed off to the West. And Neidan is even less well known. However, it's quite powerful. It can really reduce your side effects, and it is very much based on concentration and visualization exercises. Now, internal alchemy, there are some different styles and they can vary a bit, but what I've seen is that they typically seem to have the following components. So, first of all, they will clear the energy pathways in your body, your so called meridians, and they will prime them, make them stronger so that you can pick up more energy. And then you will learn to connect these energy pathways to the earth and to your surroundings so that you can effectively both ground and also pick up energy from the earth and your surroundings. And then you will learn how to ground the energy using your concentration and willpower. And you will also learn to remove emotional blockages so that any kind of energy is more easily transferred throughout your system. And then you will release the Kundalini or release something that is similar to the Kundalini in a phased and controlled way. The energy theory in internal alchemy, what I've found is that, well, Kundalini releases a lot of energy, and this energy will typically travel upwards in the body. I actually don't really know why. Maybe it's because we read and write a lot, we spend a lot of time being in our head, so to speak. Maybe it's the nature of energy to simply go where concentration flows, as they say. And in any case, this will put quite an enormous pressure on your upper chakras and on your head and so on. And if your body and your energy system isn't prepared, then you can certainly have side effects. And some of the foundational practices found in internal alchemy will actually clear these blockages and will ground the energy, and this, of course, will greatly help. Now, my experience with this is that I accidentally released my Kundalini in 2011, and I spent 2 years being very frustrated because there were a lot of things that I couldn't do and a lot of irritating side effects. I had quite a lot of them: bodily anxiety, insomnia, energy headaches, all kinds of things. I discovered something called the Kundalini Support Network on Yahoo Groups, and I wrote about my problems, and all of the guys in there, and we're talking several dozen guys, they all told me to do an exercise called the microcosmic orbit. And I was skeptical at first. I didn't want to make this any worse. But on the other hand, I didn't really feel like I had a choice. I had to do something. So I started doing this exercise, and I would say that within a week, about 70% of my negative physical side effects were gone. And I've since progressed in the system in internal alchemy, and today 90% of my physical side effects are gone. Not all of the emotional ones are gone, but I would say that they have at least been reduced or changed to the extent where I feel they are much more manageable. I've gained lots of wonderful side effects too over the last 2 years. Now, in the next video, I will actually show you guys how to do the first main exercise in internal alchemy. It's called the microcosmic orbit, and this, I would say, is the most important exercise to ground and harmonize any Kundalini energy. This will relieve pressure on all the major chakras in the body, and it will actually ground the energy in the stomach where it isn't disruptive. The results that people report, and the results that I feel too, is that you will have a more harmonized energy feeling. So all this kind of hectic, stressful, anxious energy will simply be much more harmonized, and you will feel more grounded in your body. I've also experienced that my ability to just relax has been increased, and it in general smoothens out most of the major side effects. So you will sleep better, you will be able to work better, and in general, life will simply be more easy. It almost sounds like I'm trying to sell you some sort of product, but no, I'm not making any money out of this video. I'm just giving some advice to people whom I think will probably benefit from this. So some famous internal alchemy disciplines. Well, famous, that probably depends on how you view it, but I would say the most well-known ones is a system developed by an American guy called Michael Wynn. He has a system called Healing Tao. Then there is a Thai Chinese guy called Mantak Chia, who has a system called Universal Tao. I've trained in Michael Wynn's system, and I believe it is somewhat similar, although slightly different from Mantak Chia's system. And it's a phased system where you first start out by removing blockages. You prime the meridians and energy centers, you learn how to ground the energy, then you remove emotional blockages, and then you release Kundalini in a gradual and phased way, or at least something that is similar to Kundalini. And actually, I've only made it to the end of step 2, so I can't really speak too much about step 3 and 4. But what I believe they do is stated here on the slide, and the system in theory actually has steps that even go beyond a full Kundalini release. So in the next video I will actually walk you through this first main exercise. Some practical info before we start doing that. You're welcome to contact me for any information, any questions and so on. Please bear in mind that I'm not a teacher, I'm not making any money on this. I have a full-time job and I'm just sharing my experience in order to hopefully help some people who need help. I've posted my email below, and I like to stay anonymous because, as you guys probably know, Kundalini is not really something that you should speak about in all kinds of settings. It's something you should keep, confidential, and only talk to people who have those kind of experiences themselves. But I've posted my email below, and I would say that if you are comfortable with it, then you are welcome to write any questions in the comments section. That way, more people will actually benefit from reading any replies. One thing I would advise you to do is to please do the first exercise for a few days before you reach out, preferably for a week, because what I experience is that people tend to have a lot of questions before they begin, and kind of like the first day after they begin. And then when they've done the exercise for a week or so, they feel more confident, and they don't have as many questions about the exercise as before. And with no further ado, as I've written on the slide, let's jump to the first exercise.